Best believe I was waiting for the day she asked me to fight her because I wanted to fight her since day one.
Way you move your body, ride it, would you ride or die for your nigga, girl, like Bonnie? In the city with the top down, with you on my side in the Rari. I just wanna know if you that special somebody, hey. If you that special somebody, you ain't gotta worry about me saying.
Hi YouTube, so it's Queen Sheeta back again with another video. And I'm kind of upset right now because I literally just made the same video that I'm making now a couple of weeks ago, and it got like, I didn't like the way it was looking and stuff, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna make another video, which was today. Earlier this morning, before 12 o'clock, I made another video, and as you can guess, it didn't work out. I was trying to post on YouTube through iMovie, and it said that I could only do 15 minutes, and my video was 25 minutes. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna delete some stuff because I had no storage to, like, put it inside my photos. So I deleted some stuff and I actually deleted the video, my old video, because I edited the video. So I was trying to save the edit one and delete the old one, but it turns out that I had to have the old one to, like, import the new one inside my photos, which I didn't know. So I deleted the video without knowing that. And yes, now I'm forced to make another video. So basically, this video is gonna be my first time fighting. My first time fighting, I was in the 7th grade. I was either 12 or 13. I was living in Florida at the time. If y'all didn't know, I'm born in Jamaica, and I lived in Florida for most of my life, like 8 years. So I was in Florida, and when my grandma, I was living with my grandma at the time, I used to go to school named Carol City. Now, this school is like one of the ghettoest schools in Florida, I'm telling you. And now that I've just said my school, I'm pretty sure people that used to go to Carol City school with me, they're gonna probably, I'm sorry, somebody just texted me. They're gonna probably, recognize me. And if y'all do recognize me, please text me, because I miss all my friends from Carol City. And my Instagram and Snapchat will be in the description box down below, and it also is going to be right here, or like down there somewhere. And yeah, so back to the story. So I used to go to this camp named Honeyshine, and those guys that don't know what Honeyshine is, it's basically it's a camp that Tracy Morgan, which is Alonzo Mourning, the famous basketball player that retired, wife, she set up this camp to get all women's, like, for them to want something in life, get them out of the streets, get something good going for them, And yeah, so I used to go to that camp, and the girl that I fought, we're gonna call her Jasmine, she also went to that camp. So, but we used to go, like, yeah, we used to go to different schools. So one day, I also go to Carol City with my cousin Chantel. Well, I used to go to Carol City with my cousin Chantel. So me and Chantel, we had most classes together. I don't know why. They did a very bad job doing it, because they know we was family. Like, we gonna mess up, like, everything. Anyways. So, me and Chantel now, we going to class, we're going to gym, and then she's like, oh, do you know that Jasmine is here, da-da-da. So I was like, oh, she is, da-da-da, and then, speaking of the devil, she came walking in the hallway, so I was like, oh, hey, Jasmine, like, we're chopping it up or whatever, because we're cool. So, fast forward, one day now, in gym, we was going in the field, and I hated the field with a passion. So we was all, like, in a circle, and I think we was kicking a ball, and so we was talking about, like, random stuff, and what a coincidence, Jasmine's name was one of the topics, right? So I said something about this other, I just burped. I said something about, I have hiccups right now, so there you go. As I said something about this other girl and not about Jasmine, but I guess they thought I was talking about Jasmine since Jasmine was the main topic. Like not the main topic, but you know the topic at the time. But I was not talking about Jasmine. If y'all know me, I do not talk about other people behind their back. If I have something to say, I'll say to you. Like that's just how I am. So after gym now, fast forward the next day, Jasmine came up to me. She's like, "Oh, how I'm saying this and that about her, how I'm saying this and the third, blah, blah, blah." And I'm just sitting there like, when did I say all these stuff? And then, this girl, right? We're gonna call her Brenda. I think that's her name. I know it starts with a B. I don't know if it's Brenda or not, but I don't care. This girl named Brenda. She's like, "Oh yes, you did say this and that about her. Da 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 da. I was there. Da da da." I'm like, "No, you said da 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 about her, not me." And so she's like, "Oh, I never said that. If I wanted to say that, I would have said it. Da da da." And I'm just sitting there like, sis. Just because she's right here in front of your face now, don't try to act fake, cause anyways. So that's when, oh, and this girl, right, were her best friend. Which I don't understand, how is it your best friend? Because you're only there for like, what, a week or two now? How is it your best friend, baby girl? But you know what? It's alright. It's good. Whatever. So her best friend, and plus, why would you believe a random girl that you know for 2 weeks over me, which you know for what, a year or two now? Like, come on. Anyways, so this girl, right? Her best friend, she's like, "Oh yes, you did say that about her. I'm gonna tell my best friend when people is talking about her." Da, da, da. And I'm just sitting there like, okay, like, why are you telling her wrong information though? Oh my gosh, Wusa. So yeah, and so I'm just sitting there, I'm like, okay, but I did not say this about you, and da da da. She's like, "Oh yes, you did." Basically, she's like believing the other people, which I don't understand, because I'm like, why are you believing other people? And you already know me. Like, you know how much times I got in trouble? Do you know just for keeping it how I feel and keeping it real, bro? Come on, don't do that, bro. Don't do that. Come on. So, after that happened, now her like fast forward to the day that we got to start the fight or whatever, right? Anyways, so that day is, I feel like I knew I was gonna fight because I had on the perfect fight that too. The uniform. The uniform is basically black or khaki pants and a black, white, or orange shirt. So this day I had on a black shirt, I had on some black joggers, like black sweats, and I had on the new threes that came out that day. It was the sport blues. I'm gonna put a picture like right now. So that day I was doing my work. Me and my friends, we were just in the front. Normally I'm in the back, but I don't know why I was in the front this day. And then we was like, you know, doing our work, whatever, talking or whatever. Then I just seen like cheese puffs just flying across me, and I'm like, is he trying to throw it at me? Is he trying to throw it like they trying to be funny? Like, I didn't know what was going on. So I looked at my friend, and my friend was like, "Oh, they're talking about you back there. They're trying to throw it at you, da da da." So I was like, "Okay." I made a promise to myself that day. I'm like, "Okay, if it don't touch me, I'm not gonna say anything to her, right?" So it was this one time when she threw it, and then it glists past my hand, like it's like when you it touches you, but it don't actually touch you, but it just glists past my hand, and then it landed at the edge of my desk, and then in my like I looked up like this, and I'm like, it didn't touch you. She did like, it didn't touch you. So I went back to my work. So she came to me. She's like, "Oh," she picked up the cheese ball. She was like, "Oh, did this touch you?" I'm like, "No." She was like, "Oh, because I was trying to make it touch you." I'm like, "Okay, but it didn't. Bye." Like, move along now. Like, am I supposed to be pressed? Come on. Like, for real. Anyways, so yeah, so I'm like, okay, I didn't know what was going on. So she was going back to her seat, and this girl, we're gonna call her Brianna, and she's not supposed to be in our class, but since her teacher not here, her class got split up, and it's just, she came to our class. So she's like, oh, you don't like Rashida? And then she's like, oh no, da da da, she already knows that, da da da. So that's when she was like, oh, Rashida, you don't like Jasmine? And I'm like, I said it, I was like, oh, Jasmine don't like me, I don't give a about her, like attitude, everything, like constantly try to press me, like, excuse me, sis, don't try it. Don't do it to yourself. Anyways, so that's when I was just about to say her own name. That's when Brianna was like, oh, like like stirring up problems. Like, oh, she said she da 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 da. And I'm just sitting there like, are you gonna press me? Like, I thought so. So she's like, oh, I asked her if she wanted to fight. She was like, no, da da da. I don't know why she talking like that, da da da. And I'm just sitting there like, yo, when, where, when, come on now. Come on now. And oh yeah, little bit. Before all this happened, right, she called herself trying to what? Bully me, bro. But it ain't really work. Cause you know what? If she would have ever put her hands on me, bro, this fight would have happened way, way, way faster than it did. And I can promise you that, baby girl. I can really promise you that. So basically, yeah. So she was like, oh, how I wanted to fight her, da da. I was like, when, da da. And then she was like, oh, best friend. We're gonna call her best friend Red. So she was like, oh, Red, didn't we ask her if she wanted to fight? And she was like, no, cause she's scared, da da. So her best friend was like, yeah, we did ask her that, da da da. You was scared to fight us, da da da. I was like, when, like, pull up your receipts, sis, because you're not making any sense. You feel me? So I'm like, when? So, because best believe, I was waiting for the day she asked me to fight her because I wanted to fight her since day one. Anyways, so after all that happened now, so after I was like, oh, like when, da da da. So she was like, oh, so you want to fight now? I'm like, I thought you would never ask. I literally said it just like that. I was like, I thought you would never ask. Took off my glasses, put it on the desk, took off my keys in my pockets, put it on the desk, took out my phone, put it on the desk. I literally got up late. It was about to get it on. She didn't want to play. She didn't want to play. So as I'm doing all that now, my friends is like, "Oh, Rashida, calm down, da da da. It's not worth it. She's not worth you fighting, da da da." I'm like, I'm really not trying to hear you right now. Like, I'm not hearing you. Like, shush. Anyways, so yeah, so after I got up now, her hair was already, when you try to do a short bob with with braids, like the single braids, you're trying to do a bob with it. She had that. She had the short ones, and basically, right? She had her hair in a ponytail already. She took her hair out of the ponytail just to put it back in. And my hair was already in a ponytail that day, so because if it wasn't in a ponytail, I would have easily just wait. So I didn't bother, doing all that. And then I moved one desk out of the way because it was in my way. She decided she wanted to move a whole row, like she Hulk or something. Like, okay, again, am I supposed to be pressed? Am I supposed to be scared? Come on. Anyways, so she brushed the whole roll with dust away. And so she like my grandma always tell me, oh, let them hit you first before you hit them. I'm like, okay. So but at the same time, like if you see somebody running towards you, you gonna just let them hit you? No, I'm gonna defend myself. So I don't know why she was running towards me with her head down, but she was running towards me with her head down. So, my my mind says grab her hair, right? Oh, my hair feels soft. But yeah, so I just grabbed the hair, like, anyways. So I grabbed her hair and flung down the floor or whatever, right? So I thought that we're getting on, blah, blah, and then that's when I wanted to like stand her up. So like I'm on top of her, so I gotta like so I stand her up, and I was like going like this, like bang her head into the board. So before I could do that, like right before I was doing that, right, her best friend jumped in, but at first I didn't know it was her best friend. So her best friend dragged me from behind, and she was like hitting me in the head. So I'm like, yo, like who's hitting me, cuz? So I turned around or whatever, and then she hit me in my nose. So I was like, oh, and then later on, my nose was bleeding, but I didn't know it was bleeding because I didn't know I was fighting. I didn't know my nose was bleeding. So after they like this boy, he pulled her off of me because he was like, yo, let it be a 1-on-1 fight, da 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 da, like don't jump in, da da. So I had to like before he pulled her off of me, I had Jasmine on the floor and I was fighting her best friend. So he pulled her off of me or whatever. I got back to Jasmine, picked her up, and then by this time, the classroom is full of people. Like by this time, everybody and their moms in the classroom, bro. So like everybody's trying to pull her go for hair. So you're hurting more. I mean, you're hurting her more. So I'm like, okay. So that's when I'm still hitting her, and so the principal, I was hitting the principal too by mistake because I'm not looking at where I'm hitting. I'm just swinging, yo. So I'm just hitting, right? Like, so the principal's like, yo, like, stop hitting. Now you're hitting me. It hurts. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna stop hitting that way. I just started uppercutting, like. Eh. And then I dragged her outside the classroom because I was not letting her go. Dragged her outside the classroom. We started fighting like in the hallway. By that time, everybody out their class looking, ooh, Jasmine and Rashida is fighting. So I'm like, I don't really care. Then my favorite janitor came and he pulled he was like he was holding on to my hand. He was like, yo, Rashida, like stop hitting her, like just let it go. Like what's going on? Let it go. Like stop fighting. So I'm like, all right, like he's my favorite janitor. I'm gonna listen to him. So I let him go, whatever. So he put me to the side and we're, like in a hallway. We're talking. It was like, oh, what happened? I'm like, no, because I'm sick and tired of this bitch. Like for real, like stop playing with me. Anyways, and so yeah, and then he was like, yo, you're bleeding, and I'm like, I am. Then I'm like this. I'm like, oh, I am. And then he was like, oh, you don't feel that? I'm like, nah. So my like this friend is my friend and her friend is like a mutual friend. So this mutual friend came in now, and then she was like, "Oh, here's your phone and your keys." So I was like, "Oh, go get my glasses." And then the janitor was like, "Oh, go get her some paper towels." So she was like, "Okay." And then she was like, "Oh, are you alright?" I'm like, "I'm fine, like I'm chilling." So like I did not like feel it until the next day. So she gave me the napkins or whatever, and then she gave me my glasses. Then he was like, "Oh, let me walk you to the office." So he walks me to the office or whatever, and then my favorite security guard was like standing at the office. His name is Biscuit, by the way. I love him. So Biscuit came, right, and so he was like, "Oh, like what's going on? Are you okay?" Da, da, da. And then I was like, "Yeah, fine." And then the janitor was like, "Yeah, she just got through a fight." And so he was like, "Yo, what happened? Like what's going on?" And so I was like, "I'll tell you later." And then my janitor was my favorite janitor. He was like, "Oh, I'm gonna tell you once I sent her down. So he was like, I bet. So we're inside the office or whatever, and then the office, like everybody in the office know me because I work in the office every fourth period because I was a good child. So I like they gave me the privilege to work in the office and shit. So I'm in the office or whatever, and they was like, yo, like what happened? Da, da, da. And I'm like, I was like, oh, I just got through a fight. Like, yeah, I acted like I never seen a girl fight before. Like, come on. So that's when I was talking to the counselor and I'm telling her everything that happened and stuff like that. And she brought Jasmine aside and I'm telling and she's telling like she's making Jasmine tell her side of the story. Of course it's two sides of the story. It's your side, it's the other person's side, and it's the truth. I always speak the truth. So with me it's only two sides of the story, you feel me? I'm just saying. So like how they was gonna call our parents, tell them to go pick her up, da. So by the way, me and Jasmine got suspended for 8 days, and her best friend got suspended for 10 days because it was like this fight had none of her business. Like she should never jump in and stuff like that. So after that happened, like my cousin came, right? Yeah, I forgot about my cousin, huh? So my cousin came, and so my cousin like she was like, "Yo, like what's going on?" Da, da, da. And before she came, she went to my class because like people went to her class and I heard that I just got into a fight and they jumped me. So of course she got up quick, fast, and in a hurry. And so she came to me and then she's like, oh, like she asked the people like, oh, who won? And it was like me. And so after that happened now, she came to check on me and see if I was okay or whatever. So I'm like, yo, I'm fine. And then she was like, oh, how everybody said that I won the fight even though they jumped me. And I was like, oh, like I'm chilling, yo. So after that happened, I Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So after they took her outside of the counselor office, right? She was talking to her friends, and then her friends was like, "How?" She asked her friends like, "Oh, who everybody saying won?" And so her friend was like, "Oh, um, then her friend looked at my cousin, then looked at her, and then they was like, oh, like you. And so my cousin was like, oh, the way he said it, you could tell that he was just saying it just to make her feel good. And plus, she already know that he lying because other people told her that I won. So I was like, oh, okay, really don't care. So they took me to the nurse or whatever to see if my nose was fine, and my nose was gooch. Like I texted my dad. I was like, "Oh, I just got into a fight." Da da da. So he was like, "Yo," the first thing he asked me was, "Oh, did you win?" I'm like, "Yeah." He was like, "Good, cause I ain't raised no punk." And I'm like, "You ain't gonna ask me if I'm okay?" That's what we doing now, cuz like, come on. But yeah, and then after the fight or whatever, like we became friends, like all three of us, we became friends, and I actually like that. Like after a fight, I feel like you should just let it go. Like we squashed our beef, whatever. So we became friends after the fight, and it's funny because when we were suspended, like every day, my cousin would call me and tell me what people were saying, like who's saying what in school, and as I was suspended, her best friend texted me and she was like, "Oh, like I'm sorry for jumping in, da da. Jasmine told me this and that and this and that." And I'm just sitting there like, never did I say that about you, but okay. And yeah, we became cool, and yeah, that's about it. Oh, the day when our parents came now, I think Red got her ass beat by her grandma because her grandma was like, "Oh, why did you jump in?" Da, da, da. And then she was like, "Oh, I didn't jump in. I was trying to separate the fight." And then she was like, "How?" Her grandma was like, "Oh, it don't look like you." It was like, oh, it don't look like you were separating the fight to me, da da. And then her grandmother asked me, she was like, oh, did she jump in? I'm like, yeah, like what I got laugh for, she like, and yeah. But yeah, we all cool now, so I guess it's fine, whatever. It's like $1,000 and something for this one camera, so I'm really trying to work my way up to get like all the lights, and and I want to actually start doing vlogging like in the summertime. If my YouTube is up there in the summertime, I'm gonna start doing vlogging. Right now it's February, it's literally the ending of February. Like I think it's like what, like the 27th or something like that. Like it's basically March now. So I got March, April, that's my birthday month, May, June. I got 4 months to get my YouTube at least to 50K, and I would start vlogging. And yeah, that's all. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video to your friends, and yeah. So see you later, guys.